This was a video that I was almost reluctant to make. And I was reluctant because, to be honest, I'm not sure if I have the superlatives or the words to describe Victor Wembanyama. If Wemby's rookie season was anything to go by, there's a good chance that basketball as we know it is never going to be the same again. Because the truth is, he is a unicorn. He is an enigma. He is a phenom. He is everything they say he is and then some. What else can we say about a player who's just 20 years of age but took the league by storm in his first season? Who's 7'4", but has an 8-foot wingspan? Who can handle the ball like a guard? And has the passing range and vision of a playmaking point guard. To top it off, he can score from almost anywhere on the floor. And in his very first season in the NBA, he was thought by many to be the best defensive player in the league. But just like any rookie, Wemby still has a lot of room for improvement, and that's where things begin to get truly scary. So let's start off by looking at how his rookie season went and try and understand what we can expect in the year ahead. Wemby's numbers from his first season in the league were all-star caliber numbers. And it shows that he more than backed up the hype that surrounded him. Averaging more than 21 points a game, more than 10 rebounds a game, leading the league at 3.6 blocks per game, while also providing assists and steals. Wemby filled up the entire stat sheet. But what makes those numbers truly remarkable, and what makes it a little bit scary to think about, is the fact that he did this while averaging less than 30 minutes a game. And to give even more context into how good his rookie season was, well, if we look at the second half of his season, each and every one of those statistics actually improves. Wemby in the second half of his season averaged 23 points per game, 11.1 rebounds per game, 4.8 assists per game, 4 blocks a game, and 1.4 steals per game. And to think that's the sort of improvement that he put up in his numbers during the course of the season. Now this kid has had an entire summer to work on his game. The early indications are that Wemby has put in some serious work this summer, and he seems to have addressed one of the most obvious and glaring chinks in his armor. The early visuals coming out from the Olympic warm-up games definitely suggest that Wemby has bulked up, and he's added some serious muscle mass. And this should help him hold his own and hold his ground against even the most physical centers in the league. And if you add strength to the unreal characteristics that Wemby already possesses, then you've got a player that might well nearly be unstoppable. With the added physical strength, Wembanyama would of course improve his post-up game. He would improve his finishing near the basket even with contact. And even though he's an outstanding rebounder, imagine how well he could use that 8-foot wingspan that we mentioned before if he has the added strength to box out better. And on top of that, his already phenomenal defensive abilities would become even more difficult for oppositions to deal with, because opposing players would no longer be able to body into him to either draw cheap fouls or try to gain the position that they want inside. The other area that I would say Wemby needed to improve was consistency in his outside shooting. And we haven't had a chance to see much of him yet in the warm-up games of the Olympics, but with the small sample size that we do have, the visuals do suggest that this too is an area that Wemby has worked on. And not only does it look like Wemby's improved his outside shot, but it also looks like he's improved shooting off the dribble. But what fascinates or intrigues me the most is how Wembanyama's decision-making is likely to improve. He's already shown that he has excellent vision and he's always aware of where his teammates are on the floor, and that he can read the game as well as any point guard while delivering pinpoint passes on the dime. And it's his playmaking abilities that truly make him the pinnacle of positionless basketball. And on top of that, Wemby's size and his 8-foot wingspan give him the distinctly unique ability to shrink the basketball floor, not just vertically, but horizontally as well. The amount of ground that Victor Wembanyama can cover with just a single step is absolutely insane. Shooters can think that they have a wide open look, but just with a single step, Wemby can actually step into their shooting range and disrupt their shot. And how about possessions like this one where Wemby can simply take a few steps and deny multiple passing lanes to the inbounder? And as Wemby continues to mature and gain game awareness, we can expect him to have better positioning for his shot blocking, and it would be interesting to see if he could also start reading passing lanes better, which would make him an even bigger threat in terms of disrupting offenses. Now we know that Chris Paul is past his prime, and he's no longer the player that he once was. But he is still somebody who can provide Wemby with some excellent veteran leadership. And he might be the perfect player to help Wemby achieve his full potential in terms of his off-ball movement as well. Because even at this age, I think Chris Paul is a player that can find a moving target, and especially if the target is as big as Victor Wembanyama. In his first season, you could argue that the Spurs did not make the most of Wemby's off-ball game, both in terms of using the lob and in terms of finding him in catch-and-shoot situations. But Chris Paul might just be the floor general they need to solve that issue. There's no doubt that Victor Wembanyama delivered on all expectations during his first season. And there's no reason for us to think that he cannot do the same again in his second season. We are witnessing the next big thing in basketball. Wemby is still learning, but he's already showed that he is level-headed enough to understand the work that needs to be put in to achieve basketball greatness.